Hey friends, this is SafePal May Community Call. Welcome back. I'm Ash, your host for today. Great to see you guys again. Joining me today are two familiar voices from the SafePal team, Veronica, our CEO, and CJ, our communications lead. Welcome back. Always a pleasure to have you both here.
Yeah,
Hey, good to
awesome to
be
be here
back.
as always.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, friends. Here's a quick look at what we prepared for today. So first, Veronica and CJ will walk us through some of the biggest industry headlines from the past month. Then we'll watch a recap video covering the latest CPL updates. After that, we're moving on to our community Q&A session. So we collected some questions from the community and selected three of them to answer live today. And the audience left the selected question will each receive an exclusive gift box with SafePal merch. So is your question selected? Stay tuned and find out. And finally, we'll be joined by our special guest from SaaS Terminal today, who will share their insights and what they've been building recently. So yeah, let's get started with part one, industry headlines. First, the Ethereum officially launched its new clear signing standard, aiming to eliminate blind signing by turning unreadable transaction data into human readable messages before users approve them. Do you think better UX is now becoming a trend than education alone, Veronica?
I think this is a great milestone because I remember
Mhm.
the last one was the smart contract, smart wallet, where the ERC standards allows us to do gas subsidies and to create a gas list experience for users. Well, this one is moving one step further for security wise because basically the clear signing. It's an open standard designed to replace the unreadable text, like unreadable
Mhm.
strings that we currently see when we are approving a signature or transaction, replace it with a plain language of description. Let's say like sending money to CJ, or sending like how much money of which token to Ashley. So
Mhm.
it actually describes what is actually happening. So this is pretty straightforward because we have seen lessons learned from before this kind of standard was in place. For example, the $1.5 billion by BitHack, and
Mhm.
also the more than $200 million worth of Wazir X breach. They are both traced back to signers approving transactions that they simply couldn't read. So
Mhm.
this is a kind of a major milestone to make it more secure for especially for wallet users, and for them to understand exactly what is happening. And I'm glad to see that wallets are already joining hands, custody providers are already joining hands. We're seeing some big names already joining the initiatives, and same for us as well. Sooner the better. So we are right
Mhm.
now already working progress on supporting this one, and I believe this is a major not just UX improvements, but also very important security elements to be in place to pave the way for massive adoption for the future to come. Yeah,
Yeah,
see if
glad
they
to
want to
see
get it. Yeah.
SafePal wallet adopt this standard soon, right? Good to
Yeah,
know that.
sooner the
And
better.
yeah, moving on, at the same time, Hyperliquid introduced validator-settled prediction markets, allowing its validators to determine and settle real-world event outcomes instead of relying on external Oracle networks. Prediction markets are, becoming one of the crypto's fastest-growing sectors. So, what's your take on this, AJ?
Before jumping on the prediction markets, also, I think Veronica covered very well on the builder perspective on the clear signing standard. So I just want to touch on a little bit about the user aspect as well before we on this topic.
Mm-hmm.
So for those that already don't know, we do take like user security very seriously. So of course, for the clear signing standard, our devs and product team are all monitoring to see when they establish what enough database and that's reliable enough, we plan to be able to support it. But for users who are already sort of concerned about this clear signing or blind signing rather issue, you'll be happy to know we actually already have a feature inside our wallet that's already active. I think a few months this last year after the Bybit hack, which is one of the biggest triggers for this, which is supported by 10 Armor. So the data and transaction that you sign is no longer as blind for most of the transactions because already data passed already. So that's for anyone who hasn't already tried that feature. So rest assured, we're always upholding the highest standards of security while maintaining UX and UI for our users. So on prediction markets, I think any innovation is always good, right? And it's awesome to see, such a lean team like Hyperliquid maintain their competitive edge in perps, but still add on to their offerings. Do I think they will succeed? I don't know yet. It's still a bit too early to say, right? Because the prediction market space is heating up as well. Hyperliquid, of course, is one of the leaders for perps by far, right? And the prediction market space is still currently, I would say, led by market share by Poly Markets and Kaoshi at the moment. But new entrants are always good. There has been a little bit of debate, right, over the reliability of prediction markets on Poly Market. I think recently, for anyone who's very big on Bitcoin, Michael Saylor recently sold 32 Bitcoin right near the end of the month, right? And there's a big debate, over whether the prediction market on Poly Markets should be a yes or no, right? And there was a big debacle over voting by UMA token voters, which is what it relies on, right? So I think there's, props to Hyperliquid, right? I hope they succeed. I hope they drive the competition and, force everyone to improve together. I think that's always a big win for builders. It grows the pie. It's great for users as well because they benefit, right? Just like free markets in the real world. But when we zoom out, what I also hope to see for users, at least for the welfare of users, to have, I would say, a more reliable and established way of, that's what I'm more concerned about. Rather, not who's going to dominate prediction markets, but whoever it is, that the prediction markets will be reliable so that we have less of such debates. That is what I would hope to see overall for prediction markets. Yeah.
Good point. Let's move on. There are some security and security news. So Layer Zero acknowledged.
I can't remember.
I just suddenly found this no gossip this month. There are two.
Can't remember when this is gonna be number 7 or 8, right, CJ? Like seeing things like this, DeFi hacking, being dominant.
Yeah, I mean, nothing against Layer Zero, right? To clarify, I think we respect Layer Zero a lot of builders. It's not say the freshest news, but I think it highlights the bigger perspective, right? The cap-down hack, I think we covered it in the previous AMA, but I think the bigger issue that it brought to light, unfortunately for Layer Zero, was that the OPSEC, I think, was unfortunately, I think there were two bigger issues at play here for this incident, aside from just the security aspect. Maybe since I handle communications and PR, from the PR perspective, I would say, unfortunately, Layer Zero took a bit too long to respond to a lot of concerns raised by users after the cap-down hack. And of course, in fairness, I've been in a lot of war rooms in crisis comms where unfortunately, protocols they encounter maybe whether it's within their control, hacks or bad. Not a SafePal, of course. To clarify, we have a perfect 8-year track record, thankfully. But I would say, in my time in Web3 PR, working with various protocols, unfortunately, it's at the back end, there's a lot going on, right? You're looking to, maybe call fellow builders and partners to verify the situation. And when it takes a bit too long, sometimes projects just take a bit too long to voice out to their users, what's going on, or which sometimes very difficult, which is to just step up and take accountability. So unfortunately, Layer Zero took way too long, and I think they suffered a little bit in terms of client and user confidence in general, and they paid the lesson for it. Although thereafter they did, publish a very lengthy and transparent report detailing what the whole situation was. But unfortunately, I think a bit too late. They lost some big clients, which migrated to Chainlink. So while it's unfortunate for them, I guess the positive side is that I think it also showcases that our industry is mature enough such that it functions, I would say, almost like how the free markets would in mature industries in real world. So that means builders are discerning. If they will vote with the confidence from clients and users are showcased in their decisions whether to migrate to a different provider or not. So rather than being stuck, from lack of choice. So that's the positive part. I think there's enough providers that provide that competition for everyone to improve and grow the pie. The second part that I think is a bit unfortunate, aside from the PR aspect, I think from the OPSEC part, and in fairness, I think when you grow as a corporation, it's quite difficult to micromanage or manage every single aspect, right? But unfortunately, they also found that in one of the important multi-sig layers zero use first infrastructure, it was found that in the past, one of the people used that same wallet to trade meme coins. So it didn't speak very well of their OPSEC, because I don't think any client or user would want to know that that the same wallets influencing their infrastructure reliability was used to do something like trade meme coins, right? Which is very different, and also more importantly exposes the wallet address to a lot of other potential risks, right? Because with meme coins and new low cap coins, very high probability that you would be trading maybe via a less established DEX, or the token could be a scam token as well, and might be too late, right? So I think the OPSEC part is also a concerning part. Do I think this is probably, it is, thankfully, I don't think it should be, the ending blow for layer 0. I think they've learned from it and they're moving forward. And ultimately, I think that the free market, right, and users will vote again with their choices and TD out, right? So it'll be up to layer 0 to make a recovery. I hope they do, if it's supported by really all the improvements from every
Did we lose CJ a bit?
Yeah, I think his internet has some problem.
Yeah, he froze on my screen.
Yeah, it was too. I think he's basically almost remembers what he said.
Oh, he's back.
I'm back. Yeah.
you're
I think I lagged out at the pardon me, my network was, yeah. Unfortunately, I think the network providers in Singapore, also need to improve. But I wish I could influence that. But yeah, it's yes. I won't say what network provider I'm using, but let's just say overall, the Wi-Fi and network providers in Singapore need to improve as well.
I think at least I lost CJ 3 times or 5 times at our last catch up. so we have to turn off our camera because
CJ, consider using mine. I will share my provider name to you.
Yeah. It's very weird, because only in my meeting with catch up with Ashley, right? We always have this problem every week for the past few weeks. But Veronica is always perfect. So I don't know what. Yeah. But anyway, sorry.
I'll DM you after.
Yeah. So I think I was wrapping up and saying that I think more importantly, it's never a good thing to see any established builder sort of fall from grace. I hope they pick themselves up, recover from it, and pick themselves up again. But hopefully that will be supported by positive actions in improving their services, and also more importantly their communication as well. That users will vote and clients will vote, with their market share and decisions. Yeah, because I think we're at the stage of industry where it's better for builders to improve and continue competing to grow the pie and onboard users, rather than having one or another protocol fail versus the other from unfortunate mistakes.
Yeah, definitely is a huge lesson for the industry. Well, the last one. Despite the growing institutional interest in crypto, security remained the elephant in the room. So Certic's CEO noted that exploits are occurring almost daily, and many institutions do see smart contract risk, bridge risk, and infrastructure risk as major barriers to adoption. And according to Certic, April saw exploits on 27 out of 30 days, making it one of the worst months for DeFi security in years. So, Veronica, do you think, if the industry now needs to shift its focus more towards resilience and risk management?
Yeah, I think definitely. I think this article is definitely very unsettling. It's very comfortable for the whole industry who've been working in the space. because it's indeed like quite severe. Because I and CJ have been having this conversation several times in the last couple of weeks already. Because CJ has been collecting the news headlines that concerns us the most and share with the team internally on a daily basis. It's really almost every single day we are seeing hacks happening in DeFi space, and it's definitely very concerning. We are seeing, so I think one side of it is that these numbers are real. We can't really spin it. Bridge security, Oracle integrity, government key management, like all of these, until these fundamentals are resolved and protected, I mean, like it would be hard to convince institutional teams to come in and open the doors. So I think like TradFi doesn't move on vibes; they move on like solid infrastructure. But on the other hand, we are also seeing builders using AI. I believe AI is a double-sided sword. So we are also seeing builders using AI to review their codes. Same for our team. Right now, we are using AI to review our codes on a daily basis, multiple rounds. And we're using AI to enhance the code quality and also to enhance the security infrastructure kind of design started from last year. So I think this is a double-sided sword, and we are going to see a hybrid of both. Like first of all, resilient of 100%. We are also seeing infrastructures taking more responsibilities and trying to be more creative. For example, Cantor Network, it's a partially permissioned and permissionless blockchain that would have a gated kind of threshold for such kind of risk management. So we are seeing infrastructure builders being very creative and thinking out of the boxes to solve the problem of stability and also resilience. So I think institutions like Apollo, like BlackRock, they are still pushing. They're still pushing onto the on-chain finance. We're still seeing RWA being the talk of the town in the last couple of months, and they haven't walked away simply because of the hacks. But they are waiting for the right moment. They are waiting for the infrastructure to mature. They are waiting for the right infra to be in place so they can come in massively. I think it's just a matter of time. And it's very unfortunate to see that, especially some very older DeFi protocols suffer from this. And I do hope that as users, as for every one of you who have been tuning in, make sure that you stay tuned to like screen your smart contract permissions. We do have tools called Revoke Manager for you to scan which smart contracts you have authorized. And this is a very practical tool, especially considering we are amid the times where hacking cases are happening every day. So I think it's critical for every one of you and every one of us to do like a thorough scanning and review of your smart contract permissions, authorizations, to make sure that you minimize the risks. For now, we are seeing most DeFi users are kind of closing down or minimizing their risk exposures to DeFi. So they are moving back a little bit, like reallocating their portfolios. I believe CJ can share a bit more of what you practically did. And I think that those are quite practical move to wait until the right moment. Same like Apollo and BlackRock are doing. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
cool.
I think Veronica covered a lot on the industry aspect, so I just quickly touch on from the user aspect as well. Firstly, I don't want to sound like a Debbie Downer, highlighting all the negative aspects every AMA, but the unfortunate reality is that it wasn't just in May as well. April, but May, which just ended, so I think there might be articles published very soon on it. The frequency of attacks, unfortunately, did not lower. They in fact ramped up. So I think we were doing like there were like 31, according to DeFi Llama, 31 hacks in the past 31 days, the average of that, so about one per day. So it's actually increased a little bit. There might be more that's unreported. I think more importantly that there's a bright side to every silver lining to every dark cloud. So for me, one of the smaller silver linings is that whether you want to or not, as users and builders, you will be forced to number one, have your OPSEC up and your coding up to standard, and for users, to have your security practice up to standard. Otherwise, your assets will not be secure. So one positive thing I do see is that after this so-called trial by fire, after a few months, the protocols, the builders, the projects, they're still around. I think the stamp of security for them compared to even for projects that have been around for years, right? will be much more reliable in a way. So that's one of the positive things I see. And like Veronica touched on, I think it'll be interesting to see the other things that pop up, like permission blockchains for institutions, maybe insurance covered vaults, and other innovations that will balance out, user demand and also add some security, maybe sacrifice a bit of you in there, but I think it might be more attractive. So it's shifting a little bit towards TradFi sort of a concept in that sense, but it's not a bad thing.
Just finding a balance. Okay. Before we jump to the community update, let's make just bring quickly but reminder back. It says SafePal, how to find SafePal official customer support. Either you can go to the go to the safepal.com/sitemap and click contact customer support, or you can just use the support shortcut that you can find in the SafePal app. Those are the only two official and secure channels to avoid you become one of the victims of the exploits we just discussed. Okay, I think it's time to check out SafePal's May's highlight. So yeah, let's take a quick look at what we've done this month from a short video. Yeah, that was a quick look at everything we shipped this month. It's a slightly shorter update than last month, but yeah, there are still plenty of exciting things happen behind the scenes, and also they will happen this month in June. And Veronica, CJ, is there any update that you find more exciting and you want to share a little bit?
Yeah, I think go ahead, CJ. CJ, go ahead.
Yeah, I think for me personally, it's just gonna be like the Bitcoin Pizza Day. More specifically, I think we're continuing to build on our banking gateway and Mastercard offerings, right? So I think I can't leak too much, I believe, but we are continuing to improve on the events, and hopefully we'll have more exciting occasions and events for our users on the banking gateway and Mastercard there.
Yeah. We've seen tons of amazing posts from users paying with their SafePal Mastercard, and yeah, it's been awesome to watch. And yeah, actually, in case if anyone doesn't know what the campaign is about, I can just share it in the chat. Yeah, so I think the campaign will end on June 5th. So if you guys happen to miss this announcements, definitely go find out. You still have 2 days to post yours, and you might just win a free pizza. Why not? And Veronica, is there anything you want to add?
No, same as CJ. Pizza is my favorite one. and I know we are brewing something for June. I'm also looking forward to that as well. Something even bigger than the pizza.
yeah, for sure. June is a big month.
Yeah, it's a quieter month in terms of updates, but that's always going to be. I think users will probably know, especially our long-term users. That means we're working on something, and brewing it up. So it'll be coming soon, right?
Right. Yeah. Then that's the wrap of all SafePal's update for May. More to come in May. Just stay tuned. Okay. Next up, it's our Q&A session. So a big thank you to everyone who submitted questions, and big congrats to Emar and Inchiger and Rush X Degen for having their questions selected. Just please keep an eye on your X chat and send us your shipping address so we can just arrange your gift. So yeah, let's answer those questions one by one. CJ, do you want to start with Emar's question?
Maybe I'll touch on the feature part.
Not a question. It's a series of questions.
Yeah, so it's a lot of questions. So I'll just compile them and answer them as a category, right? So in terms of
sounds good.
Network support, right? Our product team is always evaluating each one. And if you're a user or builder, there are two ways if you want to get networks noticed, because we manage 200 plus, it's quite difficult to keep track. Number one, you can either submit a ticket through our SafePal app. You can submit the details for network support in our official site, www.safepal.com. Scroll to the bottom, either submit a listing or submit a token, depending on how your network functions. And our product team look through it very diligently, almost daily, and we review each one weekly, right? So that will be subject to product pipeline and dev resources and market demand for blockchain integration. So I cannot give you an exact date, but this request has already been taken note of and shared with the product team. But for any other users or builders, you can send it through via the channels I shared earlier. For TRX Energy Pool, good thing is it's already implemented in our gas station. You can already save fees through the energy rental. I believe you launched it in July 2025 last year. So this user might have missed that out. You can check it out already in our SafePal gas station. And if you're a TRX heavy user, you can also check out the TRX staking feature, which is currently offering very competitive APY at SafePal Earn right now, about 10% APY on average. The coin supports same process I shared earlier as sharing for network integrations. Best way, www.safepal.com. Scroll to the bottom, select the submit a token and for the dev and product team to consider. The last one, for EMAR, I think for market orders, right, limit orders, it's quite interesting because just a few days ago, I was just sharing this aspect with our product team for limit orders because I do use DeFi swaps quite a bit. This feature has already been brought up to the product team, coincidentally, actually by me, and also I think the fact that a user also raised this question showcases that there's actual interest as well and need. Whether we'll be able to implement it quickly or at all is a bit different from how other swaps might. I can't give a definite answer yes, whether we can support and by when. Simply because our swap aggregator aggregates a lot of different swap providers and supports like 100+ blockchains. So for us to, for maybe just a swap provider on one blockchain to implement limit orders, going to be much easier than us when we support 200+ blockchains and multiple swap providers. So whether we can implement it safely, more importantly, and to operate smoothly, I can't say for sure yet. But just rest assured, we've brought it our product team. They're evaluating. So if we have updates on that, definitely you will see the update being worked on and shared with our users. So just know that we are looking at this feature and seeing how it's possible that we can support it. But we're definitely aware of this already. And thank you for bringing up to our attention. Hope that addresses all the bunch of questions from Ima. Yeah, and if it doesn't, feel free to comment further on that, and we'll get the response through.
Sure. Let's move on to Inchigar's question. Veronica, do you want to answer this one? What's the biggest self-custody mistake that you can experience?
Yeah, sure. I think I'm going to combine the second and the third because they are actually talking about the same thing, and I'm actually sharing the same angle. But first of all, great shout out to Emar. It feels like that he or she is a solid supporter and user of ours. Thank you so much for raising all of those question marks. It's very encouraging to us. It means that something that we've been working are seen by people and people are giving us feedback. For the second and third, I'm going to combine both of them. The biggest self-custody mistakes nowadays we are seeing is less about private key leakage or seed phrase leakage. It happens a lot when people click confirm when they have no idea what they are confirming. So this is something that we have seen, unfortunately, a lot of times to experienced crypto users. So like, for example, like people clicking signing requests without knowing what it's actually running behind on the smart contract. And I think this is a callback to the ETH blind signing feature that we just talked about at the end of the AMA. I think that's a structural thing that could resolve this problem altogether. And this is definitely a huge milestone for UX. But let's dive down to what we have built on the product side. I think, first of all, transaction simulation. So we do have that in the backend. You might not necessarily feel it, but when a user signs anything, we would run the transaction and to run it for a quick check and to show like what the actual outcome looks like. So if there's any risks detected, we would warn you. The second of all, approval scanning. I just mentioned that already. We do have the revoke manager that's been there for a long time. users can actually scan and check which smart contracts they have authorized over time. They can choose to revoke any one of them at any time they like. So this is something that we would proactively try to introduce it to the users, to let them to have a more holistic review of their wallet engagement. And thirdly, we do have the real-time contract risk scoring in partnership with GoPlus and a couple of other security partners. So when a user is about to interact with a smart contract, or when a user is about to interact with a fake token, let's say, we would run a blacklist or a live a threat mode of analysis. So what about is it audited? How long has it been deployed? Is there any known vulnerabilities? Is the risk score very high? So if there's any kind of a risk factor kind of triggering the analysis, we would definitely warn and try to stop there. But I don't think any of these are silver bullets, to be honest, because until the clear signing from Ethereum Foundation really gets in place in all of the EVM chains, and then for other non-EVM chains to follow up, that paved the way for the whole industrial standards that would allow users to understand the signing in the plain language. Before that, we are still going to see situations like this happening. So I think this is like the best tooling really cannot protect a user who overrides the warning, because we it's very embarrassing because we try to warn a lot of times for users, but we detected that quite a decent percentage of them click "I understand" and then gone. So we try to warn them like this is for example, we try to warn them this is a third-party D app. Like if it is the first time that you've been using it, be careful. This is not operated by SafePal. Okay, they click "I understood." And then they will come back to us asking like, how come the DApp, the fake D app kind of drained their money? And they accuse SafePal for providing that service, in which we are 100% innocent, and we did make that very explicitly to users. So all of these products and features can't really protect somebody who overrides these warnings and do not take deep thinking enough regarding like what they are actually authorizing or confirming and in the backend. So I think this is something that like and any FAQ product features cannot help out. So I really look forward to the Ethereum Foundation blind signing feature. I think that could help solve this problem a lot, like to let them understand actually what is the authorization they are giving to people. Like this can be a major step regarding security, especially on the user's behavior end. Yeah. So that's a little bit touch on both of these actually. Yeah.
Thanks so much for your answer. All right, I think that's the end of the Q&A session because I saw our guest is waiting in the waiting room. So yeah, a big thank you to Veronica for joining us today, and hope you have a good night. And also thanks for everyone to participate in this session. Right.
The questions coming. Just because your question didn't get selected this time doesn't mean it wasn't good. There were tons of great questions, but we could only select about 2 or 3. So love the support, love the questions, keep them coming. And for the roles that weren't selected, rest assured we are looking through them and we do respond to them as well. So thank you for the support, and hope to keep to see really good questions come up in the next EMA as well.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks, AJ. All right, a big shout out to Veronica, and see you next month.
See you. Without further ado, we'll leave the stage so that our valuable guests can join us. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay. Okay. Let's jump into this part 3 and welcome our guest speaker. Our guest today is SAS Terminal, the ultimate DeFi platform that lets you borrow USDC against Bitcoin at the best available rate in minutes. So maybe let's first watch a short video and learn what SAS Terminal is. Cool. Joining us today, we have Jay, the intern at SAS Terminal. Welcome, Jay. Could you start by telling us a little bit about maybe yourself as SaaS Terminal beyond the video I just played? Because I saw it's just a branding video. It's super cool, super but it's I think still lack of some details. So we can just
Yeah,
go
sure. Do you want just a bit of about me, and then I'll continue with SaaS Terminal as well.
Yeah, just go
a little
ahead.
bit about you, a little bit about
Yeah.
SaaS Terminal.
Oh,
Okay.
if you want to go to the next slide, just let me know. So yeah.
All right. So just a little bit about myself. I'm the intern at SaaS Terminal, mainly focusing on marketing right now. And actually Bitcoin has been, I would say, one of the first coins that I actually got into in 2020. And I've been pretty passionate about it since building with Bitcoin assets, ordinals, and runes. If you guys heard about it, building one of the biggest marketplaces for Bitcoin Layer 1, and then we moved on to Bitcoin Layer 2. Well, what really fascinated me actually was not just the assets on chain, but also being able to utilize Bitcoin in a way where it is a seamless manner, because throughout my experiences with different platforms, it's been quite, I would say, quite a learning curve to actually learn how to bridge, to actually learn there's a lot of different chains that you need to go through, and it is quite troublesome to learn a new process every time. So I think these difficulties actually led me to join SaaS Terminal. So a little bit about what we do at SaaS Terminal. We are making Bitcoin finance easier for everyone. So think about all the Web3 experiences that you've had, things that seem normal to you, like remembering your seed phrase, going on to multiple sites just to do like a few DeFi transactions. Think of all of that, and it might seem like second nature to many people who are very familiar in the Web3 industry. But for people who are not in Web3 or just hold Bitcoin, this can be something that is quite cumbersome. So we are doing our best to make this seamless. We've abstracted away a lot of the processes at SaaS Terminal to bring Bitcoin finance in a Web2 experience. Yeah, maybe you can head on to the next slide, and I'll just go a little bit deeper into that. Yeah. So Bitcoin itself, if you let it sit in your wallet, it's pretty much just like, getting gold and putting it in a vault. But that's not the case. Bitcoin is actually really liquid. It's, I would say, in the top 14 right now assets in the world. And why are you just letting it stay idle? You can do so much of it. So a couple of things that you can do. You can either sell it, you trade it. That's the most common thing that you can do, but you're missing out on potential upsides, and you probably get taxed on that. So another thing that you could do is to utilize it in DeFi. Traditionally, DeFi for Bitcoin is a little bit tough. At SaaS Terminal, we abstract the whole process of creating your wallet for EVMs, and also to bridge and to learn or research for hours and days on end, just to find the best rates for your loans or your Bitcoin yield. So as you can see in the image attached, the whole process for us is really simple. How much do you want to borrow, and what's the collateral needed? You can play around with the LTV, which is loan to value. So here in this example, we have 50%. And what this means is that with, say, $400 of Bitcoin, you can borrow $200 of USDC. And I think the words might be a little bit small for most audiences, but yeah, right now the APY is around 3.4%. So going into things like why this is why borrowing is actually more useful in terms of like taxes. Borrowing is a liability, therefore it is a tax-free liquidity for you. And then you don't miss out on upside potentials, and also it actually forces people to save. I know for many people, once they get their say extra money, the first thing that you want to do is probably buy that Labubu or buy that new meme token that came out, right? So yeah, for Sats Terminal, we're helping people manage their finances better as an emerging neobank. Okay. uh, and you know, many times I've heard of people who talk about like borrowing as in something that is a little bit hard to do because wow, I don't want to take on any loans. um, just to give a little bit of extra knowledge to everyone, so Elon Musk is, I would say, one of the richest guy, if not the richest guy in the world. And he himself, most of his assets are actually money, liquidity is actually tied in assets. And what he does is he actually takes these assets and borrow against it. You might be wondering, why does he do that, right? Number one, he doesn't get taxed for his any liquidity that he's going to be using. So, and another thing is that he doesn't lose control of his assets. So you can think of it this way: of credit is actually being smarter with your money, and if the richest guy in the world is doing it, there must be something to it, right? So we're making this really simple for native Bitcoin holders. If you can transfer Bitcoin, you can take a loan and unlock the liquidity that you actually have. Yeah. My actually, is this like just myself talking, or would there be any questions in between as well? Or CJ, if you want to say anything.
Yeah, of course. I think I didn't want to interrupt your sharing, but you know, firstly, you know, it brought me back a lot of memories when you were sharing about the how tough UX was a few years ago. In fact, I brought up the same exact thing up to Ash before about how it's quite coincidental, because that was one of the reasons why I joined SafePal, because it was, I had to figure out as well how to bridge to every blockchain, and for every new blockchain I discovered, I would have to go and install a completely new wallet, which I had no idea about whether on the safety, reliability, and most of the times UX was horrible. You know, yeah. So I think the awesome thing is that we've grown a lot as an industry the past few years in terms of UI UX, where we can have it is I guess it's a good thing, you know, if users can come in and complain that the process is too complicated, because it seems to be more of a norm right now that the UI and UX is abstracted to a point that it's much more simple, right? So it's awesome, of course, that Sexton is looking to bring that for users. I think two things that, you know, I just want to add on as well. Why I think what Sexton does bring a lot of value to users is Bitcoin is, at least for crypto, it is one of the, you know, blue chip assets that, especially for the serious Bitcoiners, they typically don't want to sell their Bitcoin. You know, Bitcoin whales have held on for like 10 years or longer, right? And these are people that don't want to let go of Bitcoin. They believe in the long-term potential, right? So I think it's awesome that, you know, it's much more accessible with competitive rates that you can do what you would do maybe in TradFi, with what you would do on, for example, asset like property, right? You mortgage it and take out loans. Of course, thankfully, you don't have to mortgage a Bitcoin. It's not as complicated. You know, you can do it through Sexton. You can have a competitive rate. So for users who haven't tried the service, in a nutshell, that's what it's doing, right? And for those countries that do have tax to worry about on crypto, you don't want to go through the hassle of trading in and out every time. It's awesome that you can borrow against it and unlock liquidity through that. Yeah, and as for questions, right, we are aware that a lot of users have raised questions throughout. So after the, you know, I think Luca, when you run through in entirety about what Sexton does, we'll leave you about 5-10 minutes. Pick out the questions that you like, because we had so many. I think last I checked, we had like 27 questions at least that were directed just at Sexton. So hopefully you can just pick the best ones, you know, the ones that you find the most useful, you want to highlight, then we can run through them as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds good, man. I like that you touched upon like getting the best rates. Maybe that's something that we can.
I
just
borrow a
dive
lot
into.
in, like I'm like although I mean I got hit by drift exploit for that, like I do like that concept of unlocking capital efficiency on DeFi assets, right? Because what's the point of taking additional risk by putting your assets on chain if you're getting the same rates as, like, say, putting in a bank, right? If you're only getting such a low APR on stable coins or whatever your assets is, there's no point putting it on DeFi, right? You want the best rates, be it in borrowing, be it in lending, So I think it's awesome that you sort of abstract out the process from that by sort of looking at least for what are the most competitive rates available. Because it can be quite a pain to manually do it. You have to check like every few hours, right? At the very
Yeah,
least. So yeah,
yeah,
it's a pretty
and I
important
think
concept.
if you've gone to any website that does huge TVL DeFi, something like I'll say the most famous one, Aave, right?
Yep, for sure. That's the one that comes to mind.
Immediately you're going to be hit by information overload. It's like, what am I looking at, right? There's so many options, and even if you've been in DeFi, you'll probably be looking like a good 10 to 15 minutes just to see like what's going on.
Yep. Even
So
for like maybe a stable coin, there'll be like
yeah,
TUSDT, different versions of the same USDC, and you're wondering what's going on. You look through everything and see the risk profile if you're stringent enough.
yeah. So it's like, we live in such a fast-paced I would say era right now. Everything we want is, I want something now, right? I don't want something where I have to go ahead and look at it for half an hour to days on end just to find what I'm looking at. So that's the kind of like experience that we want people to have. Maybe you can go to the next slide. I'll go deeper into just a little bit about the specifics at Sats Terminal as well. So starting from the point where you are, getting into Sats Terminal, for example, you want to be able to say, take a loan, right? Why do we say if you can send Bitcoin, you can take a loan? So it's like this. We abstract away a lot of the processes required for you to use Bitcoin DeFi. So creating an account, creating a wallet is as simple as having an email address. Put in your email address, and the whole wallet creation is abstracted. So there's a few benefits in this. Number one, you have full control of your own wallet. It's self-custodial. We do not have your keys. It's basically fragmented across different venues, and it only comes together when you need to use it. So number two is that you're able to access your wallet from anywhere. Basically, like as long as you have access to your email address, you can get the code to unlock your wallet. And then thirdly, because it's abstracted this way, the whole process of remembering your seed phrase, tattooing it somewhere hidden in your body, or writing it down on a piece of paper, that's something that you can basically, forgo. All you need is to have your secure email address. And then the next experience that you would have is to be able to get, now I want to, I'm here, I want to take a Bitcoin loan, I want the best rates. I don't want to look through like 10 pages of like different rates just to find the best one. And also look into, how deep is this liquidity pool, stuff like that. So it's very simple. We get the best rates through market aggregation. What this means is we take different pools, lending pools. Doesn't matter if it's on Arbitrum, Ethereum, Starknet, or any different chains, and we bring it to you. The best rate is always on top. Whether you understand the chain behind it, I would say that is pretty much, you can read into it after that, but it is not that important because we do choose our partners very carefully to ensure that the lending pools that you are accessing have been vetted by us, and you can take full confidence that it is safe in terms of as safe as DeFi can be. So honestly, even if we look at our phones these days, a lot of things you probably don't even need to understand, but you just want. We go from having a desire directly to being able to achieve that. So a lot of the processes, because it is an easy way that we want to give everyone. It's just directly like choose your terms, choose how much you want to borrow, and transfer Bitcoin. It's that simple. Once your transaction goes through, you basically get your loan immediately.
I think the
And
convenience
then,
it unlocks as well
yeah,
is like a sort of underrated luxury that not every DeFi protocol offers, right? We have enough headaches on our hand already, focusing on security and trying to manage self custody, right? Like for example, I think everyday life, for example, it's already a pain to do like price comparisons or matching for like buying stuff you want online, right? So I think it's awesome that Sets Terminals basically doing the equivalent of what we maybe like a rate match in a sense, right? To have the best our most competitive providers. So I think the awesome thing is that for Bitcoiners or users who are looking to um, get the most out of their Bitcoin, they don't have to do it manually everywhere, right? Just look at all assets terminal. And also for those listeners who are like long-term users of SafePal, right? Who don't want to create a new wallet. Awesome thing is that Sets terminals already are also listed on SafePal wallet. You can search for Sets terminal there as well. And
Yeah,
use
I
it.
saw some live chat asking how to use how do BTC loan works in SafePal. So definitely explore SAS steps in SafePal wallet. Um, that's how it works. And actually, let's just so before actually we prepare some question as usual. But before we dive into the question, let's play a game together with the audience. Jay, have you played Two Truths and One Lie?
not when I'm sober.
Okay, so but today we'll play it with the other audience. So
Okay.
I know you prepared some interesting facts that do you want to share with the audience? You can just say it, so I can just type it maybe in the live chat, so people will see.
Okay. Yeah.
Mhm.
Three questions. Three facts, right?
Facts,
Uh,
facts.
okay. So number one,
Mhm.
taking a loan with native Bitcoin is a long and complicated process on Zats terminal. Okay, this is the
Okay.
first one. Number two, with Sats terminal,
Mhm.
we get the best Bitcoin loan rates at a glance with our market aggregation engine. And number
Mhm.
three, Sats terminal is non KYC and self custodial. Users can start using Bitcoin Finance with just an
Mhm.
email address.
Okay. I think based on what you introduced about SAS terminal, it's pretty clear there, right? Also, I think it's very obvious which one is a lie. So, well, guys, can you guess which one is true and which one is lie? Let me share what I got in the live chat group. Okay. Oh,
Actually,
team
I
boss
just
breaks into three.
this is my first time seeing a capybara
Oh,
talking.
really?
It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I will see it. This is a selling point of SafePal Community Call. So I think there was one time that the capybara face was off, the avatar was off. Then I think the impression of that live stream just cut half. So I think, yeah, definitely it's a selling point. So
Yes, that's
yeah,
cool.
I think let's just give audience some time to think and the answer. And to learn more about SAS Terminal, we prepared some question for you. So hope you could answer, and people also too they can learn more about SAS Terminal. So the first question is historically, Bitcoiner preferred holding over deploying capital. so as I. So do you think that this mindset is starting to change?
Yeah. If you're talking about like, I would say maybe 10 years ago, there probably wasn't a very mature Bitcoin finance ecosystem. We've had like some options to do that, but at that time, I would say it is still a pretty cowboy-ish kind of like ecosystem, where it was just starting to grow and be more serious. And fast forward to, I would say, 2022. That was the time when, sorry, 2024, just 2 years ago. There was a time when we had Bitcoin layer twos, and it kind of like dominated a lot of conversations around Bitcoiners. Like, do we really need this? Is this going to actually help us with our finances?
Mhm.
And I think how it actually played out was that we saw clear winners. We saw chains like and protocols like I would say Babylon, Starknet. These guys have really pushed the whole Bitcoin finance kind of use cases, and also not discounting the efforts that we've seen with WBTC, Red Bitcoin, and I think the whole industry right now is kind of like evolving into something where we do have platforms that we can trust, and we do have tools that are easy to use, that is really simple. I'm not going to shield Sats Terminal too much, but it is Sats Terminal that is something like that. Yeah, and also like companies that have a good background, a good team background, a good backer background. For example, like for us, we do have Draper Associates, Easy Labs, and also Coinbase, that has put their trust in us, and carrying that trust, to our users as well. So the whole industry for being able to access Bitcoin finance applications like loans and yield has evolved to a point where I would say it is simple enough for you to use it, and even hardliners or even people who just hold Bitcoin can find it a very simple and easy process nowadays. So I would say the usage is growing.
Cool. Sergey, you want to comment anything?
Well, I think I already shared earlier that I'm always I guess in the gaming concept is I'm like what you call a min max. Right? Looking to always get the most out of what I do or have. So I think capital efficiency is a big important thing for me, at least in DeFi assets. So I've never felt comfortable just holding assets. I always want to see what to do with it. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, right? But I think for users, the good thing is for those that are looking to at least get a little bit more efficiency out of assets, there's platforms like Sacramento that they can forward to. And I do think that this will be a trend that will continue to grow, especially with the onboarding of institutions, financial institutions, banks, and such, because this is essentially what they're doing already with TradFi assets, right? So for them to come on chain and not be able to do that on a large scale, where even like I would say 1% is a big difference for them annually because of the sheer amount of assets they have under custody, right? I think this will be a trend that continues to develop, and hopefully we would have that scalability and security to go along with that to make the industry secure enough to onboard all these I would say institutions and providers sustainably and at a large scale. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so moving on, you already shared so many things about Sats Terminal, but there are a lot of providers in the market. So if I'm asking, what is the secret sauce of Sats Terminal, or how you can make just put everything in one sentence? What makes Sats Terminal different from other DeFi aggregator? What will be your answer, Jay?
Just one sentence would be
Not necessarily one sentence, just the key points, or just some bullet point highlights.
okay. Very simply, Sats Terminal really simplifies the whole Bitcoin finance process
Mhm.
at the best rates. And it is as simple as being able to transfer Bitcoin and access all the best loan rates and the best yield rates that you have on the market. To put that in context, borrowing with Bitcoin is about 3%, and getting yield for Bitcoin is about 3% as well. And also, if you have stable coins like USDC, USDT, it doesn't really matter because once you transfer it to SATS terminal, we kind of bridge and abstract the whole combining your balances. It's at 11% usually. So yeah, that's how we give the best value to everyone.
Yeah, to add on as well, I think that's a really nice niche synergy that Jay happened to mention when SATS Terminal kindly invited me to their AMA some time back. For users of our SafePal, banking gateway and Mastercard, right? And for those who happen to have Bitcoin as well and don't want to sell it, Jay very kindly brought up something that I think made a lot of sense. If you don't want to sell a Bitcoin, there are WBTC SATS terminal vaults on Arbitrum, for example, which is the blockchain that our banking gateway also runs on. You can deposit your BTC in the SATS terminal, borrow stable coins against it, send over the USDC to the banking gateway, and you can use it buy coffee or whatever you normally do, right, with our banking gateway and Mastercard. So a lot of very fun and more importantly, I think very usable applications that we perform daily, from these kind of synergies there. So pretty excited about all these things developing further, and hope to see, I would say a day where all these things become one seamless flow, and users can maybe just buy a coffee with their Bitcoin loans or something like that, right? Very, very conveniently.
Yeah. Don't spend your Bitcoin. Make use of it.
Cool. Finally, last question. So looking ahead, what should the community be most excited about from SaaS Terminal in the coming month or in the coming year?
I don't know if I'm leaking too much here, but we do have a really
Only
exciting...
review what your PR or your communications department allows you to say. As someone in that department, I will respect them as well, because I know how difficult it is. So don't share more than what you can afford to share. Yeah.
Okay. There is a lot to share, to be honest. But yeah, I just can't say too much. But let's just say that we'll be having more features coming up that will allow you to go from taking a loan to doing what you want most with it. Whether it's like spending, whether it's getting more Bitcoin. There's more features coming up, and I think in the coming months, you will see SATS Terminal app as well, a native iPhone app that will make everything easier as well.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Sounds very exciting.
Sounds good. Yeah, amazing. Thanks so much for sharing, Jay. I think that's all the questions I prepared for you. At least, CJ, you have any follow-up question? I think that's a wrap for this session. Thanks so much for sharing, and we really appreciate it. I think we still have one slide left, right? Just definitely explore SaaS Terminal dApp in SafePal Wallet. And I think SaaS Terminal recently also have an X1 wallet giveaway campaign, right? Just one confirm.
Yeah.
Right. Cool.
Yeah, I think we already touched upon these previously as well. It's very important. Hodl safe with SafePal and utilize your liquidity safely as well.
Perfect. Before we wrap up, Jay, is there anything you like to say to the SafePal community? Any thoughts or any message you want to leave to everyone?
Yeah, just if you're holding Bitcoin, and maybe you don't know what to do with it, or you already know what you want to do with it, once you can get, I would say, tax-free liquidity and also liquidity without selling, check us out on Sats Terminal and look out for our updates on our X. And thanks to SafePal for organizing this. Everyone on the team is super friendly and really, really, I would say, really passionate about what they're doing in bringing, great information and also building a great product, and not in terms of like hardware wallet and also a software app, software wallet as well. Yeah, you guys are great.
Before this session finally wraps up, I just want to give a shout out to today's giveaway. So how to join today's giveaway? Jay already provided three facts, right? There are 2 truths and 1 lies among them. So first, you have to leave the correct answer under the pin post, this live stream post, before June 3rd. Like the end of the day. So second, you need to register for Sats Terminal account through the SafePal app. And if you answer correctly, we'll reach out and ask you to provide the email used for registration, along with a screenshot showing that you successfully signed up. Then all the eligible participants with the correct answer will share 100 USDT dollar prize pool sponsored by Sats Terminal. And the rewards will be distributed direct to your Sats Terminal account automatically, right? That's Jay. Just correct me if I'm wrong. That should be the process, right?
Yeah. If you just let us, if you have the email, yeah.
Super easy to sign up. Okay, I think that's everything. I will let you go, Jay. Have a good night. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for joining
Thank you.
us, Jay.
Yeah, see you, bro.
See you.
See you, Ashley. Bye.
See you. Bye. Okay. And with that, that's the end of today's community call. A huge thank you to Jay for joining us, and Veronica and Jay, also sharing their insights with the SafePal community. Before we wrap up, CJ, do you have any final thoughts, or just want to say goodbye to everyone?
I just want to touch on the Q&A segment that we brought on for that we hope to make a more regular thing, right? For the firstly, congrats again to the 3 selected questions. I guess our socials account will be following up with you guys to get the mystery boxes sent out. So hope you'll like it. And for those that didn't get it this time, again, doesn't mean your questions weren't good. There are so many good questions, so we hope to see them coming. We'll address whatever that we can, and look forward to keep receiving them. We take all the community feedback really seriously, and we hope to establish a 2-way sort of channel that we can really understand what our users are looking for, and that we can build the features or improve on existing features to meet our users a lot more, right? So this will, if you didn't get the mystery box, don't worry. We hope to make it a regular thing, and each mystery box hopefully will be different to each user and region. So no need to compare. Hope you all like it. Hope you like the pleasant surprise, and keep the questions coming. Keep the support going. You guys are an important part of why we keep building and at SafePal.
Yeah, we'll make it a regular thing. Yeah, and also to everyone who tuned in today, thank you so much for spending time with us. We hope you enjoyed the discussion, the updates, and what's happening across the ecosystem. And just don't forget to follow SafePal on X, and just drop your answer under this pin post to get a chance to win the prize sponsored by Sats Terminal. And just keep an eye on what upcoming and campaigns, products updates, and community events. So yeah, until next time, see you. Stay safe, guys. Bye.
See you, everyone.